we're gonna watch this video from Freeze, you know, our favorite guy. Because I actually don't know anything about the new dodge changes and stuff. I'm actually really interested because so far anything they've done, I think for Honor has been good. Anything JC has implemented has, I think, been okay. Like it's never been bad. It's always been an improvement. I see people like complain a lot about these dodge changes, so I'm very interested. So let's watch this. Also, I'm gonna keep eating because I'm human after all, and I gotta eat food. So yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Today we're going over all the changes that came with this patch. Jormungandr will get a separate video. For now, we're just focusing on the implementation of the dodge changes. The general mood regarding this patch seems rather negative among the people I talk to, but you also get many people that fully defend all these changes. It's been a while since we've had the community so split on an issue.
Exactly.
I've given you my opinion on this plenty in the past, so I'll try and stay more objective and just explain the changes and how they will affect your gameplay.
Freeze objective? I'm joking around, okay, fellas? Calm down.
The patch notes will be linked down in the description, so you can also read up on it in case I don't explain it properly.
Wait, he's playing Zanu. Isn't Zanu like the most disgusting thing right now with dodge attacks? It's still Freeze, I guess. He's giving like back to when he like defending Konkor and Shugoki when they're like in their most broken, fucked up states, and he was playing as them.
In a slightly different order though. First change I want to talk about is guard during dodge, as it's probably the most controversial one, and I expect people to adapt to it rather quickly, despite being quite against the change at the moment.
Pretty good, I think. That's just...
So the clips you are seeing right now are from pre-patch and showcase the different guard types that we had. It's not just static and reflex, but static guard had a few variations. You can see how on Warden, the guard position stayed exactly where you parked it, no matter what direction you dodge in.
Yeah.
This was used to defend against blue-orange mix-ups a lot. Park your guard top and block a top undodgeable while avoiding a bash because you dodged.
Easy. Yeah, that was bullshit.
Other heroes like TND changed their guard with the dodge direction, but had the block property throughout the dodge. And then Valkyrie had the superior block property during the dodge, but lost the block property on anything but that 200 MS window. So it was very much like a deflect on Reflex Guard heroes. Reflex Guard worked the same on all heroes. I am not aware of any differences between the assassins. Deflect window was the same on everybody. Now on the current live patch, static has exactly two different variations. For one, Valks for the superior block characters. With that change, they also reduced the windows and standardized them on all of them. So Kensei and Conquerors basically had theirs nerfed. But that change made sense. Why should they have 500 MS windows of superior block during the dodge, really?
True. That's good.
And the other option is simply no guard at all.
Nice.
The whole dodge duration means no guard. You have the normal amount of iframes, but no block frames.
That's good. I think that's good. It also makes stuff like, for example, Griffin's finishers, like side finishers, so much more fun to use. And I think in general, it's just way better for the game and opens up way more possibilities to create characters and, you know, update other characters and stuff without having just, you know, blue versus orange mix-ups. I think it's good.
The middle ground that was suggested after the testing rounds was to have just normal block for the same 200 MS. Similar to the superior block dodge.
I'm happy with this. I'm really happy with this.
Inferior block, meaning no attack would bounce off, similarly to your block when you're out of stamina. It would provide a little bit of extra safety, yet not allowed to negate whole mix-ups like before. The patch notes also had this sentence here. Heroes regain their defense 100 MS after being able to change their stance during a dodge.
What?
This one was probably just as confusing to you as it was for me. In the initial testing rounds, there was a bug where side dodge guard recovery was 900 MS, and a guard swap would shorten that time to 733.
Oh, okay.
And since I wasn't sure what the patch notes meant, I recorded this pre-patch as well, without even remembering that I've listed this as an issue during the testing round. And well, it turns out that this wasn't just on the testing grounds, that was a thing on live as well, since forever probably. Changing guard after a dodge would allow you to block earlier compared to when you let your guard come up in the initial position.
What the fuck?
And A 166 MS difference is quite significant here.
That's so weird.
But I have good news. This is what it is now. No matter if you let your guard come up or change it during a dodge, you recover it at 733 MS every time. This gives you more safety at the end of it compared to pre-patch. After all this, they did add something quite significant to dodges as well. Pre-patch, if you dodged into obstacles, you would lose all iframes.
Yeah.
Now, you can still avoid attacks, especially bashes, if you're stuck in a corner or boxed in by players or minions, for example.
Okay, wow.
And Ubisoft did fix the issue where opposing minions would interrupt your iframes
That's nice.
during the dodge with an attack.
I mean, that's just gonna feel so much better. Because the thing is, this whole wall thing they got going for them, like weapons bouncing off, you know, like dodging into walls, loses your iframes. It's not fun. It's very, like, not consistent as well. So I think this is great. This is all, so far, all just good changes.
That was an issue when we initially tested these changes, and it seems to be fixed now. For one, minions seem to make room for you when you dodge. At least it seems that way to me, even if only a little. I'd love to hear what you guys think here. Let me know if I'm just remembering wrong.
Who cares?
On back dodges though, the minions still seem to have more of an impact, but I can't say for sure either.
Fucking minions.
All in all, minions shouldn't body block you, nor delete your iframes any longer. Then moving on, the dodge attack property change.
Here we go.
All dodge attacks, with the exceptions of Jungjun's Mighty Backslash, Jindy's Dragon Dodge, and Warmonger's Beast of Prey, now count as a light attack when you parry it.
Why is he calling them by their names? Come on, Freeze. You're not fucking community manager for Honor. No, you're a gamer, okay? It's just heavy dodge attacks. Warmonger, Tiandi, and Zhang Jun's heavy dodge attacks are still heavy parries. Just, come on. Come on, Freeze.
The three exceptions I just listed are the feintable dodge attacks. All others are now a light. Not the input, just the property.
Good.
Kensei, Griffin, Highlander, Magi. It's all light parries now.
Good.
No other property but feintability was taken into consideration. If you parry them, you get your big punish.
Good.
To keep the high punishability of all...
I'm telling you, this has been the biggest change, like, since CCU. Like, if you play For Honor now, it actually feels like a different game. Like, the meta is shifting like crazy, because before it was just like spamming dodge attacks everywhere. Now people do a lot more empty dodges. And it just changes the way you play the game, like drastically, in my opinion. It's really fun. I'm very happy with this change. I like it a lot. Fuck dodge attacks.
All side dodge moves. Some side dodge bashes were also adjusted. Noticed how I said some, because we are very far from having parity on these. What changed? Well, for one, their speed has been up to 600 ms. Some, like Conqueror's or Shugoki's headbutt, used to be 533, but are now 600.
Okay.
This brings them in line with Gladiator's side dodge bash, for example. The only one that gets...
I feel like Gladiator's bash is super slow. Because he gets a lot of iframes as well. I guess not.
to stay 533 ms is Lawbringers. For whatever fucking reason. The big armored man that...
I'm assuming because they're like reworking him. They're not really like paying attention to him. I'm assuming it just kind of went over their head because they're like already working on a rework. Then again, Dodge Ford bashes that are like 600 ms, like Centurion, Nirvin Gander. It's kind of shit anyway. Like at least like Zanu and Diandi can do it from like a dodge cancel.
That deserved to get hyper armor because of all that armor is now also the one that moves the fastest. Loving the logic that's applied here.
I think it's just they just forgot.
That was a joke in case someone couldn't tell. The ability to chain on whiff after side dodge bashes was also removed.
Yes!
This affects Shugoki and Gladiator mostly.
So if you dodge Gladiator's side dodge bash now, it's no longer he can no longer combo into heavy. Oh my god. Thank you. Dude, the Shugoki side dodge bash was literally unpunishable. It was unpunishable. Just flat out. You can no guard break, no attack, it's hyper armor into a heavy attack. Like there's nothing you can do unless you have like bash yourself. Like a side dodge bash yourself. That's it. You just get countered. Done. Over. Thank you for actually addressing this. That's so good. That makes me really happy.
This was with the intention to give a guard break to the one dodging the bash. Thus, the recovery values on some of them were increased.
He still does it.
All of them are 900 ms now. The patch notes gave us different values, particularly for Conqueror, who's supposed to have worse recovery, but in terms of guard break, they're all the same now. We do measure them a little different.
Oh, I mean, I think that's fine. Because side dodges also have iframes. If you dodge forward, you can just... It's a risk you take, basically. It's more of a risk you take. If you do forward, people can like light you, like, you know, it's more of a risk. Side dodge, it's not a risk. It's a counter move, right? It's a defensive offensive tool.
Differently than the devs, but they're all equal now. In short, you bait it out, you dodge, you get the guard break. Defensive mix-ups like Shinobis, where they can avoid the dodge attack with a backflip, but open themselves up to a guard break, well, that no longer exists on the side dodge version. You dodge, you get the guard break.
Nice.
I am personally curious about the numbers here, whether people actually do that now, or if it's still all dodge attacks all the time.
Wait, what?
Same as the percentage of...
Wait, you can't guard break Lawbringer after his shove? I thought they fixed that. I thought they changed it, like 2 seasons ago.
These side dodge bashes being dodged in the first place. I can't imagine the number changing at all, neither at the top or at the bottom, despite the significant nerfs. The top has always dodged them when baiting them out, and the bottom never dodges. We'll never know. Then, the input window for dodge attacks. These were quite varied in the past, but most, but not all, are now 200 to 400 ms into the dodge. The exceptions are JJ's, both of TND's, Ward and Shoulder Bash, and then Warmogger's Claw, Beast of Prey. I'll put the values on the screen.
Freeze, there's so many numbers. Yandy, 100, was like very fast. I mean, I guess he's dodge specialist, right? Oh my god, Yandy's heavy dodge attack is such an important part of his kit. Whatever.
Alright, let me explain for a second why I am disappointed here. For one, watch my Shunhu video. He is the perfect example why nuance is so important here. But then, I don't know whether I need to blame myself here for misunderstanding, or for Ubisoft selling me on something that in hindsight wasn't true. So the premise of this change initially was that the 200 to 400 value should become the new standard.
Yeah.
Out with all the static windows, unless they're absolutely needed. The 200 to 400 would become a new minimum, and depending on the strength or need of a dodge attack, they can also have bigger windows or a slightly shifted one. That's why initially Shaman or Orochi were supposed to keep their old windows. Which in my opinion was great. I thought this was an amazing change because it for one allowed for more consistent punishes of moves whose recovery were on the lower end, and at the same time it allowed for input comfort.
I'm gonna be real with you. I got no idea. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what these inputs matter, but I'm sure they matter. I'm sure Freeze is right. And that is not ironic. I'm like, you know, he's the numbers guy. I don't know.
Yet it wouldn't be too big a window where we would run into the problem of people differentiating and reacting to mix-ups with late dodge attack inputs. Something we've seen in the past on Berserker, for example. But what we got here now in the end is such a watered down version of that premise that, just like the standardization of the parry property on the dodge attacks, leads to completely over the top or absolute dogshit moves. It might be a slight exaggeration, but I also don't want to repeat myself for the 100th time that dodge attacks needed an individual approach and not a blanket change. I understand that this now could be considered a new baseline and further changes will adjust some up or down. I don't know, seems like a lot of extra work. Oh well, but that sums up the implementation of the dodge testing ground. Which leaves us with the Afeera fixes. One of the most requested ones was...
So that was it. Those were the dodge attack changes. So why does that make Zanu such like a bitch to fight? Maybe because his input window was like later before, and now it's faster. So far, like I don't see the issue. Like I love the light parry stuff, right? The side dodge bash stuff is amazing. You can guard break his dodge attack now, and it's unreactable mix up on defensive move. Yeah, I mean that's just stupid. Having a 50-50 on the dodge attack is like cute, but it, you know, it's like, oh, let's do this. It sounds funny, but it is not. Like in reality, it doesn't work. I've said this before. Zanu's dodge attack is either useless or completely broken. You cannot. That's not a balanceable move. It's stupid. You should not put a 50-50 on a fucking defensive move. Like it's no, that's stupid. And I think now, you know, we're just in the cycle of like, oh, now it's stupid, and then they nerf it and it's like useless, and it's stupid. I don't know why it exists. I don't know. I don't know why they kept it even in with like his mini rework.
The feat interaction. The tier 1 confirming the tier 3, and that is no longer the case.
Oh.
They did not shorten the recovery of the target to allow for an earlier dodge, but what they did instead was lengthen the recovery of the Afeera using the tier 1. Pre-patch, we were looking at the recovery time of 933,
I like doing that.
which has now been extended to
really
1100 ms. This makes the tier 3 easily dodgeable now, and don't forget that you do get a guard break here as well. Furthermore, all unintentional confirmed in-chain kicks have been fixed. That is the running heavy into kick, for example, both when blocked and when getting hit. That will now allow for a successful dodge. They did lengthen the chain link from attack to the bash. You'll notice immediately the first time you do it after the patch. And the second one was buffered guards, which is no longer stop you from dodging either. I haven't been able to recreate it at all now, so I'd say an overall successful fix on all fronts here.
I do nothing about these issues.
Jormungandr will get his own video, like I said. Okay. If you want to know anything specific about him, let me know and I'll try and incorporate it into the video. Subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Comment if something's unclear, and otherwise, just have a nice day.
Thank you.
With that said, hope the video was helpful.
It was.
Thanks for watching. Laters, everybody.
Bye, Freeze. Now we're up to speed. I like dodge attack changes. I didn't know anything about those Afeera problems. I only knew like the infinite with the wall splat. And then of course the feat 1, like chaining into the feat 3 was kind of fun. I love doing that shit because then the feat 3 also chains into a heavy. It was 1 too heavy. It was really fun to do, but I get what has to go. Like, you know, I'm not stupid. I mean, I am, but I get it. How do I follow Zanu? You feel obnoxious? Yeah, it's awful. Dude, fighting a Zanu is insane. For some reason, the dodge attack feels way faster. Like, you can't catch them because they can just keep chaining dodge attack into dodge attack. It's the worst. It is the absolute worst. But I'm sure they'll fix it. I think For Honor has been pretty on the nose as of lately with fixing like bullshit annoying stuff. Like Afeera, for example. Like, you know, those issues. I'm actually quite confident in For Honor right now. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm quite confident in JC. There it is. JC, my beloved.